What up, though?
What up, though? Welcome to episode 1 of Choke Slam, the first official episode. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. It's fucking pretty good day today at work. I'm excited. The weather's nice. I'm excited. It's fucking Wednesday. Let's talk about fucking wrestling.
That's right. Let's talk about wrestling. The weather has been shit here all day and will be all day tomorrow and the day before that. So, weather permitting, my internet will not crash tonight.
Yep. Well, we'll see. Fingers crossed that the show will get cut short.
That's right. Lucky for everybody else if it does. So, our topic for tonight is WrestleMania, the original. Did you get a chance to watch that?
Yeah, I definitely did. I watched it a few days ago, and I wrote down some notes to help me remember what happened. But I don't know. Like, for me, I love hearing stories about the old days of wrestling and like this person and that person and like how it translated from like a carnival thing basically to being its own thing. And I love listening to all the stories. But for me, wrestling starts when the WWF started taking over.
Yes.
And so like the wrestling starts for me and with WrestleMania. That was what really started to push their narrative as a nationwide company and not just a regional company.
Yep. Yeah, back then, they had the, different zones that it was strictly taboo to cross, one zone
Most
to
commonly
another.
referred to as territories.
Territories, yep.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, there's regional places all over, regional promotions. New York was the WWF.
Yep.
Vince's dad's deal, and then became the WWF, which is easier to say for sure. But either way, like it still fucking bums me out that it's called WWE now.
Yep. Goddamn animal rights people.
Yep.
Okay.
Fucking World Wildlife Foundation.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't think Vince was that sad when he had to change the name to Entertainment.
No, probably not.
But either way, WrestleMania without a number. The thing that I did not remember at all from watching it, like I don't know how many times I've watched the first one, like probably 6 or 7 times before this week.
Yep.
And then one thing I did not remember about WrestleMania at all was the opening bit of the entire thing, which, traditionally Vince is an American guy, American pride, a patriot guy. So they open with the Star Spangled Banner. And the thing that I did not remember at all is that Mean Gene Okerlund sang the Star Spangled Banner for WrestleMania.
They had a musical guest lined up to do it, and at the last minute, like literally a couple hours before, they said they weren't going to do it. And then so old Mean Gene just stepped in and had, note cards and everything, which was funny because he had to keep reading the note cards.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like all jokes aside, like he did a pretty good job for just like a guy who just, says people's names to sing the Star Spangled Banner on the spot like that.
Yep.
I was surprisingly impressed with his performance of the Star Spangled Banner, but either way, after that, they quickly moved on to the tape-recorded interviews. They did the Mean Gene interviews with all the wrestlers before they went to their match, and they all had it pre-recorded. But as soon as it went through that, then we went to the first match. Was Tito? Goddamn! Why can't I say his name out loud? Tito Santana versus the Executioner.
Yep, the Executioner.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it didn't take long from this point on to like the jobber matches on pay-per-views wasn't a thing anymore. It was champion versus champion, or star versus star would be a better way to put it. Yes. Star versus star. And then like that. I'm a big collector of the LJN figures, which are like made back like during this time period of WrestleMania, like 1, 2, 3. Anyway, the point of the story is that there are fucking jobber figures in the wrestling line. Like they could have put more stars in the line, but they put jobbers in there because they were smart enough to know that all the kids watching on TV didn't go to all the fucking like live events where they saw the stars battle. The kids watched on TV where you saw the fucking jobbers lose to all the stars, and they were smart enough to include fucking jobber people in the figures. I always thought that was really cool.
They did a lot back then, just to promote everything they could.
Yep. But I guess to get back to the match, like what ultimately happened is wasn't that long of a match. Tito Santana won with the figure 4 leg lock.
Yep. And then for obvious reasons, that was, they referred to the fact, that wrestlers, didn't use steroids back in the day, but Santana was one of the easy ones to pick out of the crowd that, definitely used steroids.
Yeah. But I mean, he definitely had that like gym junkie personality too, though.
Oh, yeah.
So even without the steroids, I'm sure he would have been in real good shape. But yeah, I mean, like it's I always think of, when I think of steroids in wrestling, I think of Honky Tonk Man, which
Definitely
sounds odd if you're just like a fan of the matches and you don't watch like shoot interviews and shit. Thinking of Honky Tonk Man when you think of steroids seems odd because obviously not a built guy. But the reason I think of him is because he talked about how everybody fucking took steroids back then. Even like all the guys that looked like him that were like, had the belly and like their arms were strong, but you couldn't see the muscles, And like the guys like him took steroids. The big guys that are all roided out fucking took steroids. But what he was saying is that everybody took them for fucking recovery.
Yep.
Injury recovery.
Yeah, the injury rate then was a lot higher than it is now.
Dude, they were working like 300 plus days a year, and like twice on Sunday, like the old saying goes.
Yeah.
And like those guys work so much and they're always on the road and like you never had time to do anything. That's why so many of them were on fucking drugs. Like you had to take drugs in the morning to like make yourself wake up and get going. You had to drive. You had to fucking find something to eat, hit the gym, like get a shower, book your hotel room, get to the venue on time, fucking wrestle your match, like deal with whatever, like hanging out with the boys involved that night, and then fucking like catch a little sleep and like get up and go the next day. Like you had to take drugs to go to bed. You had to take drugs to get up. You had to take drugs for pain, or if you have high blood pressure or whatever, like there's just so many people around so many drugs.
Yeah, because it's not like now, where they have, people that, book everything, run everything. All you do is show up, work out, wrestle, and then you have all the rest of your free time. Back then, they were working athletes.
Yeah. And they were responsible for so much back then compared to now. Like back then, nobody fucking wrote anything for you to say for you.
No.
Nobody fucking like planned out your storylines. You had to do that in the fucking locker room with the other wrestler when you got to the venue. Like, and if you had a prop like that's why, like, I remember so many interviews with people that I'm a huge interview junkie. So I'm sure you'll hear me refer to shoot interviews all the time. But the point of the story is that there are so many people that didn't want the title because they didn't want an extra 15 pounds to carry around in their fucking bag. Like the champion carried they were responsible for carrying the belt from venue to venue. Like, I was thinking of like the fucking people with the animals and shit. Like Jake the Snake Roberts had to fucking take a snake around. He was the one who had to be responsible for traveling the snake across the country. Like, you think of Ricky the Steamboat. I don't know if he fucking had to carry that fucking lizard or the alligator or whatever they had that night for him to do, or if somebody else provided that shit. But like Jake had to carry the snake around. Like, if you had any, I remember Paul Bearer was talked about how he was responsible for the urns when he would fucking do the Undertaker gimmick, and like the one with the fucking spotlight in it weighed like 45 pounds, and he had to carry that shit around the airport every fucking day.
I couldn't imagine that shit.
Yeah, what a burden.
Well, and then we have the second match. King Kong Bundy versus Special Delivery Jones.
All right, so to cut back to the LJN figures again, Special Delivery Jones, or SD Jones as they called him, was so prominent at that time that he had two figures, and they were color variants. Like he had a yellow shirt, and he had a red shirt with flowers, like a Hawaiian shirt. And he had the two like clearly distinct figures, not like so like there's a lot of debate between collectors what constitutes a variation, because the figures were made at so many like third world country factories back then that like the shade of red on somebody's pants or like the shade of brown on somebody's boots like didn't always turn out the same. And so you have obsessive people that have to have every shade of brown for the boots, but then like realistically, when it comes from the factory, like intentional variants, there are not very many.
No.
And two of them are jobbers. Two intentional variant figures are jobbers. One is Special Delivery Jones, who had the two shirts, and then the other one is the army guy, sergeant somebody, or private somebody. I can't remember his fucking name, but he had three variants, and they're variant molds, not just a different paint, but they're literally variants in the mold because he had three stages of facial hair. There's one with clean shave, there's one stubble, there's one with the full beard. But to go back to the match, King Kong Bundy wins over fucking Special Delivery Jones with a fucking body splash from the floor, not even from the first rope, just like fell over on the guy. And they said, oh, this is a new record for WrestleMania, 9 seconds. His victory was in 9 seconds. If you go back and measure the tape, it was like 26 seconds. But the funniest part about it is this: when Gorilla Monsoon is one of the commentators, he goes, man, the previous record tonight was, or the previous record before tonight was 23 seconds. The record for this event that we've never held before was 23 seconds for the fastest match, and tonight King Kong Bundy broke it with 9 seconds.
Oh, Swag thinks we ought to get Big Will in here.
No. Swag Dito, god damn it.
Mikey wanted to know if we were reviewing WrestleMania 1.
Yes, WrestleMania 1, Mike. We're just talking about match number 2, King Kong Bundy versus Special Delivery Jones.
And feel free, anybody that wants to come on and talk about this, links in the chat.
Well, there's no use in lingering. Fucking move on to the third match.
Yep, Ricky Steamboat versus Matt Bourne.
Yep.
It was pretty much a squash match from the start.
Yeah. But it was like the first match out of the first 3 matches, this was like the first real match to me, because he had like the Matt Bourne wasn't just a fucking jobber like the first 2 guys.
Yep.
But of course they're pushing Steamboat like he deserved to be pushed. Like his fucking, his physical agility, made people want to watch him. Plus he always seemed like such a nice guy, and so a lot of, obviously a fan favorite right away. But ultimately, the end of the match was Ricky Steamboat goes to the top rope and fucking jumps off with the crossbody to the pin for the win.
Then the next match was Brutus Barber Beefcake.
I was just taking a moment to like think about the fact that you think about what a simple move the fucking like off the top rope crossbody is. Like nowadays, that would be literally the opening move, not the finishing move.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many flips and like so many things that were like what used to be. If I listen to a lot of Jim Cornette shit, and like I think that he's fucking like stuck in like 1983, too much for his own good. But one thing that I do agree with him on is that people don't respect the fucking finishing moves. And when you turn finishing moves into fucking opening moves and like you do 37 of them before you do your finishing move, it just like it takes away so much.
Yeah, the moves back then that were devastating. I mean, now, we start with flipping pile drivers, so everything is so lackluster, now compared to what it used to be.
Yeah. And I understand, like, you got to make it a little more exciting for the modern crowd, but, like, they went too far with it. Like, they went way too far with it a long time ago, and now you're just stuck in this place where, like, you can't do anything but fancy moves, and, like, now none of them mean anything.
Where, a power bomb used to be the most devastating move there was. You were out for 6 months after getting a power bomb. Now you get 7 or 8 of them in a row and you still kick out on a 2 count.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that shit's weak.
But you're right. Got to make it, more interesting for everybody.
Yeah. Yep. Well, going to what you were talking about when I cut you off, next match was Brutus Beefcake versus David Sanmartino. That's right. Bruto Sanmartino's son.
Yes.
Who's like probably like 25 or so when this match happened, but
he was another one that they, were trying to push as a powerhouse, just monster of a guy, and he was 5'5". He was built well, but he's kind of like equivalent to like John Silver is now in AEW. Built, big muscular guy, but when you're 5'4", 5'5",
5'6", 5'7", even.
Yeah, especially in wrestling.
Yeah, you just look so small. Like when you think back to like what's the most famous picture from wrestling, they always show over and over Andre and Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Like people forget that Hulk Hogan was fucking super tall.
Yeah, I mean that's why back in the day he was in a lot, of small little roles and promos and movies and shit because he was a monstrous guy.
Yeah.
Right before WrestleMania was when he was in the Rocky movie, as Thunder Lips.
Mm-hmm.
And, granted, Stallone isn't a huge guy, but he's still 5'9", 5'10", something like that. And he come up under his tits. Hogan was a big dude. 6'6" is what?
Yeah, some people say he's 6'8". Mm-hmm. Either way.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how much time they put into that match. It seemed like it went on a long time. But ultimately what happened, if you don't remember, is his dad, Bruno Sammartino, and Beefcake's manager fucking interfered in the match. And to make him look weak, while they were building him up as a powerhouse, the fucking manager the Beefcake, which was an ex-wrestler, but he picked him up and fucking like tossed him. You know, not a good look for the manager to be able to physically toss you.
Exactly. You know, you're the wrestler, not the manager.
Mm-hmm. But as a double disqualification was the ending to that match. You know, because of the managers or escorts or valets or whatever you want to call them. But moves us on to the match that almost lasted as long as the fucking main event of the entire night. Greg Valentine versus JYD for
Junkyard
the
Dog.
IC title.
Yep, Intercontinental title, which was a big deal. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, the title was on the line for the big show. And I was a big fan of Junkyard Dog. When I was a little kid and I first saw him, I always thought like he looked so badass with like the big chain and shit.
Yep.
Like really intimidating. I saw fucking huge pec muscles and
Always
looked like he could just
needing to
crush
win
something.
so he can get a bone.
Yep. And he was a huge crowd favorite too. Like he was in the running to be the first like black champion. He was. There's a couple of promoters I can't remember now that tried to push him up to that spot, but it was kind of like pushed back against not necessarily because of his race, but more just because like the old guard didn't want to see somebody that young take the belt. You know, obviously there's some racism involved as well, but I feel like that a lot of it had to do with like him. They're trying to hold on to like the old guys and not let the new guys come up and start moving into those fucking prime spots at the top. But it's a good match though. But ultimately, fucking Dirty Valentine wins with the pin.
No, it wasn't a pin. It was a Junkyard Dog one by countout.
He got. Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. That I actually had that written in my notes, and I fucking this was trying to remember, and I fucking did it wrong.
See, that's why notes will get you wrong every time.
Yep. Man. So then the next like big match. So ultimately, but because it was a countout, though, Valentine kept the title.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So like that was the stick to fucking Junkyard Dog. So he still didn't get the title.
Yep. But, even though he won, really, he dominated that whole match.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, and then the next match for the tag team titles is Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov.
This is the U.S. Express. Mikey Rotundo and Barry Windham.
Yep.
With they had Captain Lou Albano as their manager.
Yep, old Lou Albano. He was pretty big at that time too. He'd been in a couple music videos, and I remember watching him wrestle at a little local promotion that we had around here. It was Dick the Bruiser Wrestling. And he used to actually wrestle on that when I was a little kid. And then that was when everything got syndicated and moved into one. And Bray Wyatt's dad.
That's actually Bray Wyatt's dad?
I don't think it actually is.
Oh. That'd be cool if it was, though. Yeah, there's a lot of wild fucking Captain Lou Albano stories from backstage and in the bars and in the locker room and all the fucking silly shit he would do. He'd always be fucking like half wasted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So Mike Rotunda is Bray Wyatt's dad.
Oh, okay.
Part of the U.S. Express.
Right on.
I guess I forgot that.
So I did not know that. But anyway, like the big to do about it was that fucking Fred Blassie and I was there with Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik, and so, like as they tend to go back and forth between the heels and the baby faces, and then anyway, so Iron Sheik grabs the manager's cane, fucking whacks him when the ref's back's turned, and they fucking get the pinfall for the win. And are officially forever and always the first people to win a title at WrestleMania. They were heels.
Yep.
Which is a pretty notable fact since, like the WWF is always considered a babyface promotion. That was a good match, though. It's definitely like real stereotypical, that match, when you think about old wrestling shit. Like, that match is pretty much like the fucking blueprint of what old school wrestling was. Same kind of back and forth, the same kind of ups and downs. It's like pretty by the book, old school wrestling style. But
yep.
So then after that was a fucking match that I remember the most from WrestleMania 1. And it's because when I was a little kid, the biggest, coolest guy in the world to me was Andre the Giant. And I wanted to be humongous like Andre the Giant so bad when I was a fucking little kid. So I watched that shit when I was in kindergarten, first grade. Then I watched WrestleMania 1 and 2 with my friend. I had a bunch of fucking VHS wrestling tapes, and we'd always fucking watch like steel cage matches and WrestleMania and like all the shit. And a lot of the people, I didn't know who they were at the time, but I always thought that fucking Andre the Giant was the shit because he was so fucking big. But the $15,000 body slam match between Big John Studd
and Andre the Giant. Yep.
Do you remember like one of the main beefs between Andre the Giant and Big John Studd backstage, not just on camera?
I do not.
Well, one of them was that Andre was the only person in his mind who could step over the top rope. And he's the Giant. And he would fucking get seriously fucking mad at Big John Studd for fucking stepping over the top rope when he came into the ring. Yeah, like no bullshit at all. He'd be fucking pissed about it. Backstage, I heard many people tell the story of him yelling at Big John Studd about not how he shouldn't be going over the top rope.
I could, they were true to their gimmicks back then.
Oh yeah.
They worked hard on them, and I could see that, because like you said, he was the Giant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Big John Studd, like when he was in other regional promotions, like we were talking about earlier, he was the Giant. But you can't be the Giant when you're in the ring with Andre the Giant.
Yeah, he was the largest athlete at that time. I mean,
Yeah. I just remember like when they made such a big deal about the $15,000 and they had the fucking bag of money. And like after Andre slammed Big John Studd, he fucking like had the bag and it looked so small in his hand because he was so fucking big, and he was like grabbing like a fistful of like dollar bills and like throwing them up in the air and shit. Well, I mean, as a little kid, when I was like, $3 was a lot of money to me. Like and like seeing like the $15,000 body slam match, and just saying like everything about it was just so much larger than life to me.
Well, you know, in '84, $15,000 was a huge amount of money.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not like 15 today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's talk. Yes, first WrestleMania was not exciting at all.
No, next week will not be WrestleMania 2. So like that's a good time to talk about that. So
Yeah.
if you have a topic that you would like to talk about with us on the show or hear us talk about, like I just drop it in the chat and we're making a list of suggested episodes. We already have three of them fucking lined up to come in the future. We've not decided what next week will be yet, but it might be revealed before the show ends tonight. But either way, we're not just going to go through all the WrestleManias in order. That's way too boring. We wanted to start with WrestleMania 1, but we are going to change the topics from WWF to WCW to ECW, from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s and back. And so like each week will be a different subject. It won't just be predictable and not worth listening to. So
Yeah.
if you would like to join in, feel free. If you have a suggestion, Grappler6, feel free to drop that in the chat as well.
Yes, this is a baby show. We're still figuring out what all we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Great topic. Old Swag's got a lot to say, except he don't want to come on and say it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fear when it comes to Swagnito.
Yeah.
Mostly of exposing his lack of wrestling knowledge.
Well, no, he's got WWE down, but so do most 12-year-old girls.
Yeah, I mean WWE. He doesn't know a lot about WWF.
Exploding rings.
You talking about Japan stuff?
Well, they had it a couple times. Well, they had it one time in AEW too.
Didn't they botch that in like such a huge way though?
Oh, it was horrible. I was there. I was actually there live.
You were there live? Oh man, I can't wait till we get to talk about that on an episode.
Yeah.
Well, let's just do it right now. Like, what was it like to experience the blunder live? How much did we see on TV versus what you saw?
Oh, they did a really good job of churching it up for TV, with the camera angles and shit. But it was absolutely horrible. I mean, everybody was standing there just in a hushed silence, trying to figure out what the fuck just happened, because it was so. Well, according to what they said, their pyrotechnics guy who actually was going to make the ring explode backed out on the last minute, so they had to improvise and go with something else with a guy they've never used before. But yeah, when everything was late, they used a little bit of delay in the live version of it. That they were broadcasting. They moved the camera angles around and made it seem like it was almost instantaneous. Well, it was still a minute behind when the ring exploded, but live it was like a full 2 minutes. And you could even see Moxley kind of like looking around, and then the smoke went off and the small little fucking fireworks, and it was completely horribly botched. So bad.
You're talking about the dud match?
Yeah, the exploding death.
The
barbed wire exploding ring match.
The whole match itself was good, and right up until the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everything that it promised. It was bloody. It was, very, very vicious.
Dude, when you hear exploding barbed wire death match, that's kind of what you expect. You know what I mean? Not some pussy ass fucking bullshit. You know?
Who's the SoundCloud rapper at the bottom?
I don't know, some fucking loser. Anyway, yeah.
But, and of course, you know, the night that it was, you know, it's Florida and Jacksonville, and you're thinking it's going to be nice. No, it just happened to be like 55 degrees, and the arena is an open air arena.
Dude,
So,
55 degrees is nice.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Were you just not prepared?
No, we're in Florida.
Yeah, right. So you're like, all right, fucking warm weather all day.
You know, and yeah, it all in all, it was a good match until they got to the special effects at the end, and it just there was more of the little smoke pods. You know, the ring didn't do nothing when a little bit of smoke cleared. You know, it was supposed to be exploding ring, and it was. I mean,
dude, I'm pretty sure AEW had that footage deleted. Like when you went to go watch it back the next day or whatever on demand, or when it went on the TNT app where I normally fucking watch AEW from, that botched ending was gone.
I guess I haven't watched it since then.
Yeah. But
it was a good time though.
And that was a pay-per-view, right? Revolution.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope. Anyway, what about WrestleMania, the one without a number? What match were you guys on?
We were on
the Big John Studd, Andre the Giant, $15,000 body slam match.
Yep.
Who won that match?
Andre the Giant did.
Do you guys?
You honestly don't know?
Nah, I didn't know. Do you guys recall watching that live when you were?
Definitely not live, but I did watch it like in the late '80s.
Who did you want to win at the time?
Oh, Andre the Giant.
Andre, yeah. I was a huge Andre the Giant mark when I was a kid. Yeah, still to this day, I love Andre the Giant. Like the only fucking wrestling figures I collect are Mick Foley and Andre the Giant.
Yeah, Andre's something else, man. Every time I think of Andre, I think of like a fucking like, yo, imagine what this pack of cigarettes would look like in Andre's hand.
Oh man, dude, just the fact I used to love the pictures of the beer can when he would hold a beer can.
Yeah,
it looked like one of those. Symbol. Well, I mean, like nowadays we actually have an equivalent to what it looks like. Like when you buy those little fucking half of pop cans.
Yep.
At the store, like if one of us held one of those, that's what it looked like for him to hold a real can.
Right. Dude, I went to fucking WWF New York back in the day. It was only around for like a few years, but I went to New York City with my family, and we were at fucking WWF New York, and yeah, I remember that shit.
I remember that.
And fucking dude, Andre the Giant's fucking hand, they had it like in a little fucking plaque thing. It was like, I don't know. It was gigantic, dude. And the Big Show's hand was right next to it in comparison because the Big Show's fucking, you know, Andre's son. But he's also like 7 foot tall or whatever, yo. Fucking dude, Andre's hand fucking dwarfs the Big Show's fucking hand. Paul White.
Yeah.
Completely dwarfed his fucking hand, bro. And then they had his boot right there in size comparison to the Big Show. And it was enormous, yo. Imagine seeing him in real life.
I did see him in real life.
Oh, word. What was that like?
Very humbling.
Yeah.
I was 9, and I came up probably about to his hip.
Shit.
And he was a really nice guy, though. I mean, he loved his fans, and I mean, especially kids. He put out his hand. I gave him a high five, and my whole hand fit into like the inside palm of his hand.
Yeah. Damn, that's fucking wild. What year was that?
I think that was 86.
What was the show?
It was just a regular show going through Fort Wayne at the time.
Oh, okay. So it was a house show?
Yep, just a regular.
Do you remember the name of the promotion?
It was WWF.
Oh, okay. Earlier, I heard you saying there was some other regional promotion.
Oh, there was like 38 territories, I believe.
Yeah.
Back in really about 81, 82 is when they started merging.
Yeah.
And 83 is when
fucked up all the talent.
Yep. That was when they started, that was when McMahon started syndicating the program and actually stealing talent away from other territories.
Yeah, and his father didn't like that.
Not at all. His father actually fired Hulk Hogan 8 months before that, I believe, right after the Rocky picture.
Yeah, and then he was working for, I think, Vern Gagne or something like that.
Yep.
In whatever promotion, but then they didn't want to. I forget why they didn't push him, but then Vince McMahon swooped in, and Hulkamania.
Yep, the first WrestleMania was going to be called Hulkamania, and then they changed the name at like 3 months to go to WrestleMania.
Right, because it was completely based around fucking Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Anyway, what was the next match on the card?
It was a singles match for the women's championship. Yep. Wendy Richter and Leilani Kai.
With Cyndi Lauper and the Fabulous Moolah as the managers.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
And then, that match actually went down, in kind of wrestling women's history.
Mm-hmm.
Because Wendy Richter won the belt. And then 3 months later, it was one of the first screw jobs in the women's division. They threw in a match with a woman wearing a mask.
And it was Fabulous Moolah, right?
It was Fabulous Moolah, yeah.
Yeah, she was dirty, bro.
Yep, that was the first screw job because Wendy Richter, that was supposed to be a squash match, and ended up stealing the belt back from her. And then not too long after that, she retired.
Did you see the episode of Dark Side of the Ring with the Fabulous Moolah?
No, I did not.
Dude, I suggest it. It's fucking insane, man. She was a witch, bro. Not in real life, but a fucking cunt for sure.
What kind of spells did she cast?
She would just fucking, she didn't want the women's championship on other, she wanted to be like the fucking queen forever, and she had this like promotion or whatever, and fucking she just screwed everybody over.
Mikey.
Stole money. Macho Warrior Hogan.
Over Hogan. Yeah.
For sure, dude. Fuck Hulk Hogan.
You know what we should do sometime is an episode of Hulk Hogan lies that he's told over the years after his career.
Yep.
I just saw something today. CM Punk said, fuck Hulk Hogan, I think he's a piece of shit, or something along those lines. I didn't read the article, but that was the headline.
A lot of them titles are clickbait titles.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't like fucking Hulk Hogan. My favorite is when the Iron Sheik talks shit about him.
Yeah. I like just about every fucking promo that Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov did.
Dude, Iron Sheik, he's the fucking man.
Right.
I think Hogan is a better heel.
And Roddy Piper was always a favorite of mine.
Yep.
Yeah, he was dope. I liked him as when I was a kid.
Was your favorite part when he did the blackface?
No, I like Jake Roberts probably the most though.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been a huge Jake the Snake Roberts fan.
Yeah. When he let that fucking Cobra bite fucking Macho Man, dude, I thought that shit.
You didn't think it was planned?
Probably. I thought he was gonna die.
Probably.
Well, I don't know. Much like ICP and fucking like wrestling, dude. Fucking, I thought like all that shit. I mean, because I was 88. I was born, so in like 1996, 97. Like I'm not saying I didn't know better or whatever, but maybe I am. And but like I thought all that shit was fucking real, dude. You know.
Which which part did you think that they're real? Like that it wasn't face paint, like they're actually like Bourne clowns, or?
Yeah, something like that. I believed fucking, the whole like 6 Jokers card thing really fucking intrigued me.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't understand. It was kind of like, these dudes were rapping about some fucking like, some like magical fucking voodoo fucking clown fucking crazy shit. And then they end up in the fucking in WWF, WCW, ECW, TNA. They got their own. I think they're gonna show up in AEW one day. That'd be dope.
I have my doubts.
No. I strongly have doubts on that.
Like, well, they don't really have the same kind of like popularity pool to make them part of it like they did back in the day. But more important than that is that I don't think they're in the physical condition to be in a match.
Maybe not in a match, but like say fucking I don't know. Say there could be some situation, just to say they did it or that they were there, That'd be cool. But anyway, what was the next match on the card on WrestleMania without?
Well, the next match on the card's the main event, man.
Yep.
Hulk Hogan and Mr. T with Jimmy the Superfly Snuka versus Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff with Cowboy Bob Orton.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that old Randy Orton's dad.
Randy Orton is one of the fucking best, man. Like now, what is Monday Night Raw?
We forgot to mention Muhammad Ali was also like the guest referee.
Yeah, right. Can't forget Muhammad Ali.
Let's review a pay-per-view and get sidetracked.
So
that's right.
So the fucking build up to that match, I mean, I wasn't there. You guys remember that when you were kids? What was that like?
Oh, there was a huge build up to it. I mean, they did a full out, training montage like Rocky
Yep.
I mean, hitting the gym. They had so many different promo videos of him in the gym, running on the beach, doing,
Rocky had just came out, right?
Rocky
Yeah.
3, yeah.
Hogan was Thunder Lips. Mr. T was in that shit.
Yep.
So they were fucking popular.
Yep.
MTV.
Yeah,
came
everybody
out
that
right
was
around that
on
time.
fucking WrestleMania was real popular at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was huge build up. Crazy promos. I mean, they promoted the shit out of it. Every minute they had to spare, they were doing a new promo.
I want to say Lou Albano or whatever was in one of Cyndi Lauper's music videos playing her dad.
Yep.
I forget who the fuck it was, but it's a big curly hair motherfucker.
Yep. Had the rubber band stuck to his face.
Yeah.
It was all pageantry. Yes, it was.
So who did you guys want to win that match? I mean, were you
As a little kid, like I didn't even really care. I wasn't that big of a Hogan mark as a kid, and like my biggest thing for WrestleMania was Andre the Giant in the $15,000 body slam match.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay.
So like what I remember when I think back on it, like watching it as a kid, like what I remember is that like I was just kind of mystified by all the pageantry and like I didn't understand why these people were so important because I was just pretty out of touch with pop culture at that young of an age, and I didn't know about the fucking Rocky 3 movie. I didn't know about fucking Mr. T and the A Team, and I didn't really know about that until I got a little bit older.
Wow, how old were you at the time?
Well, when did this happen? 86?
84.
84. So I was only a year old when this took place. So like when I saw it was when I was at my friend's house
Watching
when I was in like kindergarten. So like 5 or 6 probably when I saw it.
All right. So when was the first time you saw WrestleMania? The first one.
I just told you when I was 5 or 6 at my friend's house.
Oh, okay. So he had the WrestleMania tape.
Yeah. Yeah, he had the best cage matches tape and the fucking WrestleMania 1 and 2, and I can't remember what else, but we watched all his fucking tapes when I was in like kindergarten and first grade.
That's cool. Yeah, the Goonies and the Cyndi Lauper.
Oh man, yeah, the Goonies, such a great movie.
Hell yeah.
I wonder if I could watch it now without the nostalgia factor. I don't know if I'd like it at all, but
Yeah, you're right, Mikey. It was March 85.
okay, so
Yep.
it makes me 2 instead.
Yep.
What about you, scientist? Where were you? What were you doing? Who were you rooting for?
I think he was in college at the time.
Fuck off. I mean, of course, everybody at that time was, rooting for Hogan and Mr. T, just because that's when they hyped it, I was always a Roddy Piper fan, though. I mean, the whole fucking, I'm just here to, chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum shit. I loved that shit.
It resonated with you.
I mean, he reminded me a lot of my dad's buddies and shit. So, of course, it was like, oh, I love that fucking guy,
Yeah.
But at that time, I was 9 years old, so
Right.
8 years old. So I very much remember it. I mean, because you couldn't turn on, every channel, and there wasn't that many channels then, we had what they call now as the Farmer 5. We just had local broadcasts.
Right.
But it was probably every hour and a half, they had another promo video for WrestleMania. I mean, they promoted the hell out of it.
Who did you watch it with?
Who did I watch it with? My dad, my uncles.
Were they rooting for Piper as well?
Oh no, they
wanted
they were they were Hulkamaniacs. They fucking
right.
because they were older. They loved A-Team and shit. And fucking
Yeah.
Pat Patterson. Nope.
Oh, dude. What? Pat Patterson played a role in the match. I can't think of what it was now. Oh, okay. Here it is. All right. So I'm going back to my notes here. The match started with Mr. T and Roddy Piper. Halfway through the match, it was like basically an all-out brawl at that point. And Muhammad Ali actually punched Roddy Piper to fucking like restore order to the match as the special referee. And then fucking Piper, or not Piper, after the match, got back to being organized again. Orndorff and Piper had the advantage, and fucking Orndorff locked Hogan into a full Nelson. And then Orton climbed to the top rope to get Hogan, and then Orton mistakenly fucking punches Orndorff. And then Hogan pins him for the win. And then in frustration, Piper knocks out the in-ring official, Pat Patterson, before he and Orton retreat backstage, leaving Orndorff by himself in the ring with Hogan and Mr. T and Snuka at the end.
Yep.
Damn. It would have been doper if fucking, or it would have been more dope if Muhammad Ali fucking knocked out fucking Roddy Piper at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have want to seen that as a fan, but
yeah, but I don't know. Muhammad Ali got to knock somebody out that night. I don't know if he did or didn't, but would have been cool.
Prison Mike was a fan of Pat Patterson.
He was the first gay wrestler.
Yeah. It's a long time before he was publicly gay, though.
Yeah.
It's how progressive of Vince McMahon to have a gay best friend for so long before it was cool.
Yeah, because I don't think he openly came out about that until the early 90s, mid 90s.
I would have guessed the late 90s, but I don't really know. I don't have a good timetable on that.
Yeah, there was like this big fucking like court thing or whatever. I forget who was in it, but like a bunch of people went on some fucking talk show or whatever, and we're talking about like Pat Patterson and fucking a few other people. And I think maybe Patterson ended up getting fired and then quietly rehired or some shit like that. But anyway.
Well, if anybody else knows what fucking Kyle was talking about just now, please explain it to me because I'm lost.
Yeah, that's all I know. Some shit that happened in the 90s. Like Vince
Are you talking
McMahon
about the steroid scandal?
Yeah, it could be something like that. But there was more to it.
Well, it was pretty much about whether or not Vince was going to go to jail for like encouraging people to use steroids.
Yeah, no, I think this was like a sex.
Fucking flannel.
Even the crickets are confused. Yeah. Those are my crickets, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
we all
isn't
know
like
that.
a year ago when it was my crickets that was for fucking heard.
Yep.
I don't have any crickets this year. I don't know why, but there's fucking like 0 crickets.
Dude, I got this fucking praying mantis that's been chilling in my yard fucking for like 5 days in a row now. Just
What do you
chilling.
feed it?
Nothing. He's just been chilling.
Man, seems like a
My
dick
right.
move not to give it any food.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he's catching bugs here and there. Yeah. But anyway, Wrestle Motherfucking Mania.
Yep, that was the first WrestleMania. Go down in history as the lamest WrestleMania, except for
Look
maybe
up. Grappler 6 says, just look up WWF Ring Boy Scandal.
Yeah.
I will definitely look that up.
I will too.
Sure. See, I told you. It was
Pat Patterson had them strawberry candies on deck.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Oh, man. Just when you thought you were safe.
So there's a new fucking Dark Side of the Ring episode tomorrow. Which...
What is it?
I'm not exactly sure. But I know that there's a new episode tomorrow. However,
Man,
there was a new episode of Dynamite tonight. And it was pretty fucking awesome, dude. Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. I think it was like a bullshit end.
a double draw.
Yeah, come on. You know.
Yeah, I mean it was a great match. It really was, but it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with how the finishers, just they don't hold any value anymore. I mean,
right.
Omega hit him with 11 V triggers.
11, you counted.
11, yes.
Jeez.
And, Danielson hit him with, all of his finishers. And they still both kicked out of all of them.
It's exactly what we were talking about, dude. It just makes everything look so weak.
Yeah. Like, dude, there's other fucking moves they can do leading up to those big moments that are just as fucking cool. There's lots of impact. You're like, damn, that fucking hurts. That dude just landed on his fucking neck,
Yeah.
But there was a few ooh moments in that match. But it was a good match.
Yeah, and then of course they had to have, CM Punk come out and make, waste 15 minutes of fucking airtime.
That was because the whole fucking crowd was dead by the end of that fucking match because they, it was like, what the fuck, are we gonna boo him right now?
It was still bullshit. I hate when they fucking eat up fucking airtime with bullshit like that.
And there was 20,000 fucking people there, yo. I think it could have been a better show than it was. It was supposed to be one of their biggest shows ever. And that fucking that arena was packed, dude. To the max.
And then the fucking Sting and Darby Allin show, fucking that. I cannot believe that they let them win against FTR, probably one of the best fucking tag teams in the industry right now, and they let Sting and Darby Allin beat them.
Dude,
do you think they're gonna do? Do you think they're gonna do any more matches like between them, or is it just the one match?
Well, they've had a couple matches now. Singles match, and now an actual tag team. Where Sting actually wrestled. And
dude,
I don't know.
It should have been FTR versus the fucking Lucha Brothers.
Not yet, because yet again, like I said, FTR is probably one of the best tag teams in the industry right now.
My point is the Lucha Brothers should have fucking been out there, man.
The Lucha Brothers just defended on fucking Dark. Or Rampage.
Tonight?
No, on Rampage.
All right. So last Friday. Even if it was just fucking Ray Phoenix versus fucking Dax Harwood or fucking Pentagon versus or whoever, you know what I'm saying? They should have been on the show.
I agree. I think whoever has the belt should be on every fucking show.
Yeah. Miro, where was he?
He cut a promo.
Oh, I must have not seen it. But it was a dope show overall. I think it could have been way stronger.
I mean, it wasn't as, it was way more exciting than last week. I mean, and I get it that, they just came off of a pay-per-view and shit, but
dude, and I'm just gonna say this: as much as I fucking love Britt Baker because she's fucking sexy as fuck, the way that the way that finish was, dude, with like her lockjaw or whatever, man, it looked so fucking weak, dude. You know what I mean? Like Aubrey Edwards just fucking hit she's out or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, make that shit look a little bit more brutal, especially if you're gonna have that camera angle on her. You know what I mean? It just didn't didn't look right.
Can we go back and sidetrack on a topic here where how many levels can he be sexy as? Is sexy as fuck the top level?
I think sexy, yeah. Sexy.
So, all right, so sexy as fuck is the top. What's the bottom? Like Big Will's Tinder date?
That's pretty bad. That's
Grinder date, I should say.
Should be Grinder.
You mean like a scab?
Like just a literal scab, or
so like Amadon hot.
Right. So how many levels are there between Big Will's Grinder date and sexy as fuck?
Oh shit, 67.
Top notch.
67 levels.
Yeah.
Name 3.
Well, you got, let's see, Abaddon.
Bourne.
67? No.
Oh, okay.
Just flip those numbers around.
76. I can do math. I did it, guys.
It was just flipping 2 numbers. It's not math. Calm down.
All right. Calm down.
So you got, let's say, Abaddon at the bottom of the scale.
I think Riho is pretty fucking.
Yeah, but
hot.
she's towards the top of the scale. I mean, she's a little Asian chick. Of course, she's hot. He said 3, so I'm going bottom, middle. I'll say Bunny is the middle. And I'm going to say probably Baker at the top. She is pretty sexy.
Yo, how about Penelope Ford? Yo, she's pretty fucking sexy.
She's cheap sexy.
Typical blonde chick. Rip off of Scarlet.
Think of the old Dolly Parton quote where it costs a lot to look this cheap.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean.
But yeah, no. Britt Baker.
Which since we're talking about that, I guess we can talk about our topic for next week, which I'm sure everybody will like. We are going to review the top 10 hottest divas of all time.
There we go. Man, so what do you got, Kyle? Like, obviously, China's number 1.
Oh yeah, she's right up there, and
me,
yeah.
No, not China, dude.
Oh, come on.
Oh yeah.
Dude, you know you like that fucking Jay Leno chin?
You fucking ain't right. I mean,
Lita all day.
Lita's in the top 15. I would say. I mean,
it's just supposed to be a teaser. We're not actually supposed to reveal the secrets yet.
Right, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Flannel, I agree. Alexa Bliss is pretty fucking hot.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I'd eat her.
What do you talk about how hot Alexa Bliss is with fucking Champ, Flannel?
Fabulous Moolah.
Did you ever see that? What was that, like Bowling for Soup or some mediocre punk band fucking made an Alexa Bliss song?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, you can look that up on YouTube. There's even a music video.
He said, yeah.
You like the current Alexa Bliss
as opposed to
as opposed to like a couple years back, fucking.
when she was younger.
Yeah, and not like with the stolen Bray Wyatt gimmick with the doll.
I don't know. I like the fucking doll gimmick myself.
I do too.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying it's bad.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for like cheesy shit like that. I love the Bray Wyatt gimmick with the lantern.
Yep.
I fucking love like shit like ICP with the face paint, like Gore. Like they're just fucking mark for shit like that.
Yeah.
Hottest female wrestler is.
What?
Max said that the hottest female wrestler currently is Vipress out of LA.
I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
Yo,
Probably some yellow Jeep porn.
Without no makeup, she's not that hot, but.
Well, Blake showed up to tell us that he was watching a movie. Well, thank you for that information, Blake.
Oh, Mac, you're out of your mind.
Listen, pal, talking about wrestling.
She's with AEW.
You look
Who is Vipress?
Can you show a picture of her, scientist?
No, I can't right now. I don't want to get into it. No, I can't.
Word. Well.
No. I spent all this fucking money to get all this set up, and it's not working right. So
let's see here.
You got the new computer?
Yeah.
How's it working?
Didn't you just hear what I said?
No, I got that retarded.
It's not working, Kyle. It's not working at all.
It's not working. I'm still on my laptop.
Oh, damn.
All right, Kyle, you look in Discord. There's a picture.
All right, let's see if this doesn't fuck up my phone.
All right. Well, we're all waiting with great anticipation to see if Kyle makes it back from his peeping adventures at Vipress. And so I heard our host, the scientist, smoking on some weed earlier. What are you smoking on tonight?
I am smoking on Tutti Frutti.
Oh, damn, nice. Yeah, I had that once. So the shops that I go to, I haven't had it back in probably over a year since I had that. I like how he came back and then disappeared. That's pretty awesome. Either way, what are your thoughts on? I'm assuming you looked at the picture, Vipress.
Well,
hot or not?
I mean, she's hot, but she's not.
Yeah, like the hottest of all? No, not even close.
Yo. Yeah, she's pretty hot.
Scale from 1 to 10.
I'll give her a solid 5.
Say like an 8.
I would have gone with the solid 6.5.
Yeah? No, that's what you would give her.
Yeah, 6.5 out of 10.
I would say like an 8. She's not like matte. She's not like.
What I'm saying is, I wouldn't stick the whole dick in. Just like 6.5 inches.
Yes, bro. She's fucking.
That's all it's worth.
Listen.
Can't be bothered to thrust properly.
The whole Cruella DeVille thing, fucking. Don't look bad on her.
And how much did you like that fucking Disney remake, huh?
How is the lag? The lag is horrible. The struggle is real.
Yep.
The Kyle Vita fucking lag?
Yeah, I have that today.
Oh, you have it. Am I good?
Yes.
Yeah, you actually.
Stacy
Who let
Keebler
fucking
was
Blake in here?
She was hot, man. But when she first came out, she had the Miss Hancock school teacher thing going on, and that was when she was by far the hottest.
I like when she was with the Dudley boys. Is that what you're talking about?
Stacy Keebler?
Yeah.
Stacy Keebler, yeah. No, I don't remember that, but I wish I was there.
Yeah, she had like the camouflage fucking shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Like
No,
little
I was
booty
talking about
shit.
Blake's comment. Yeah, I remember when she was with the Dudley boys. Blake said, remember when she was with Al Snow and was giving everybody head? I said, no, I don't remember that, but I wish I would have been there.
Yeah, I mean, if she's just giving everybody head,
Yeah.
I would have stood in that line.
For sure. I can't really think of anybody else at that time that was as hot as Stacy Keebler was.
I mean, you had Trish Stratus and...
Yeah, but like who
Man.
else? Like they always tried to bring in like new chicks and they always just fucking never lasted.
Dude, one of the fucking crazy interviews I watched was with this psycho bitch that was one of the Nitro girls. And she was fucking out of her mind, dude. Like, she thought that, like, she was as big as a star as fucking Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash. And, like, she literally thought that she was fucking, like, Goldberg or Diamond Dallas Page, or, like, she was out of her fucking mind.
Because she
like,
was a Nitro girl.
Yeah.
And she
Yep.
thought
Yeah, she was like, everybody wanted to fuck me, and like fuck some of them, but I can't tell you who, and like it was just like, you're fucking so delusional. Like nobody fucking saw you more than what you were, which is a fucking moist, wet hole.
Right. Dude, remember when Shaggy 2 Dope fucking put Sting on blast because Sting was a little fucking bitch and told all the boys in the locker room's wives that they all cheated on him and shit like that? It happened recently. And
No, I don't remember anything like that, but what I do remember is ICP talking about what it was like to meet Sting, and he told him that he had the fucking gimmick on black and white face paint, and Violet J's response was, I hope your shit goes back to 91.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the
But I don't know anything about Sting saying that they fucked like rats on the road.
No.
They probably did.
Not ICP being rats on the road. Sting being a rat on the road to the boys in the locker room's wives. You know what I'm saying? Like Shaggy 2 Dope said something on Keegan and the Creep Show or whatever. Or the
He would fuck people's wives while they were on the road?
Say what?
You're saying that Shaggy said that Sting fucked people's wives while they were all on tour?
No. Sting, all right, other dudes that were in the locker room, you know what I mean? Let's just say Goldberg, Kevin Nash.
Wrestlers?
Yeah, other wrestlers, right? Fucking in the locker room. Fucking, they would cheat on their wives and Sting would tell on them to the other wrestlers' wives. Shaggy
I could honestly believe that story, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely believe that story based on other stories I've heard.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the cheating part. I'm just talking about fucking, what's his name? Steve, I think is his real name. But yeah. Sting being a fucking tattletale, I could believe that.
Yeah. I mean, you can find.
You know who else is a tattletale? Is fucking Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, sad old man.
Velvet Sky. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Man, my lag is horrible.
Well, you can actually leave and come back as the host, and it won't in the stream unless you hit in the stream.
I don't think it'll change it.
Okay. Well,
It helps me.
I feel like we accomplished our goal of talking about fucking WrestleMania 1. And
Yes.
we talked about AEW. And we spoiled a lot of next week's conversation about hot ladies. So
No, we missed a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I was trying to avoid a lot of the things I wanted to say just so we could save it for next week. But next week, man, if you want to talk about hot ladies or female wrestlers, whatever you want to call them, we're doing that shit right here on Studio 17 on Wednesday next week. And the week after that will be a topic totally different. So please keep tuning in to the fucking Choke Slam right here on Studio 17. All right, so I feel like what we need to do at the end here is we need to rate WrestleMania, the one without a number.
I will give it a...
All right, so before you say anything, are we rating it out of 10, out of 5, out of 100?
Out of 10.
Right.
I would give it a 3.5. And the only reason I will go that high is because it was the first... so I'll give it credit for being the first of its kind, trying to sort out the kinks. But yeah, I'll give it a 3.5.
All right, Kyle, what do you got on WrestleMania 1 out of 10?
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
All right.
Reason being because not only was it the first of its kind, but it was the first event to feature music artists and I guess sports
wrestling
entertainment combined. Yeah, wrestling. And it was dope, man. Fucking Mr. T was the biggest fucking thing at the time, and
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. I mean, you had it was a star.
Liberace.
Right.
Yep. Liberace was a special musical guest.
Event, man. Fucking, and I give it a solid 5 out of because of that. But I mean, as far as the wrestling goes, yikes.
I mean, it definitely was like what wrestling was at the time. That's for sure.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it was just a glorified house show. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like they did everything that they thought would make it to be a good show.
Right.
And arguably, it's hard to view things from such a long time ago as with your modern eyes, because you've seen so much. But I feel like they did a good job overall. I'm going to go with a 4.5 out of 10 on the WrestleMania, and I'll tell you why. It's because nostalgia factor made me want to give it a much higher rating. But like when I thought about it for a minute, and I thought about like how does it compare, like to the other WrestleManias, and the more I thought about it, the more the score went down. And I was tempted to give it a score as low as the scientist did, but like the nostalgia factor like kicked back in, and I just couldn't give it a score that low. So we're going with 4.5 out of 10.
That's a respectable number.
All fairly low scores.
In the chat, I seen a lot of 1s, 2s, 0.5.
0.5.
Who said 0.5?
Sizak did.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Unwatchable, he said.
Unwatchable.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand your point.
Yeah, it compared to now, especially was unwatchable.
I don't know if necessarily compared to now, but compared to like 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002, like it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Real bad.
Well,
All right, hold on. I just have a quick question. Who do you think was the most solid, gifted wrestler at the first WrestleMania, and what was the best fucking match as far as wrestling and skills go?
Oh,
I
okay.
would
So
have-
as far as wrestling and skills go,
Yes. It's my final question.
as far as wrestling and skills go, I'm gonna have to go with fucking Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's match.
Yep.
And as far as like the person, what was the first part of your question?
I forget. I was just wondering what was
Oh,
the
you said something about who's like the most talented wrestler on the card. I don't know, like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the U.S. Express. Definitely had their abilities. The fucking socialist, like USSR team. Obviously, a lot of fucking muscle and power and skill, and I'd say it's like between those people there, like Matt Bourne, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the U.S. Express, fucking Nikolai Volkov, and Iron Sheik for like
who did Ricky the Dragon Steamboat?
Matt Bourne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt Bourne, not a big name, but like he definitely had some skill. Like I definitely have heard a lot of well-respected wrestlers speak highly of him. Like he took care of people in the ring. Like he was a good guy to hang out with, but like he didn't have the X factor to push him to the fucking next level.
Right. Okay. I guess that answers my question for sure. Anyway, solid show tonight. Good job.
Yeah, man. So we're rounding out right here at like an hour and a half or so. And so the format for this show, if you didn't know from last episode, is that the show will carry its own momentum until it runs out, and then the show is over.
And
Like
the
there's
show is
no
over.
allotted time for the show. Like sometimes it'll be an hour and a half, sometimes it'll be 3 hours, sometimes it'll be 45 minutes. It just depends on the topic.
And participation.
Yeah. Yep.
The more people want to come on and talk, the longer it lasts. I'm sure next week will be great, though. Top 10 hottest divas.
Yeah.
A lot of people have, opinions on that.
Yep. I mean, it sure will be a shame that I have to spend this week looking at pictures of women.
Yeah, I mean, sure be a shame.
Yep. Judging.
Evaluating.
Dude, remember the WWE fucking swimsuit issues?
Oh, yeah.
Things. Anyway, man.
We will cover that all next week.
Yep.
I still have some of those magazines.
I have the issue of Playboy that ICP was in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I did not know they were in Playboy.
Yep. Yeah, I'll fucking send you some pictures of the pages.
If you can get them unstuck.
Yeah, I mean it might be hard.
Might have to steam them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Sable Playboy?
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Just for collector's value. I've never opened it.
Siznak has all the Playboy issues with clean pages. He must have bought 2 copies.
Oh, I thought I heard he bought 3.
That could be too.
For when the first one wore out.
Dang.
Either way, thanks for tuning in. This has been Chokeslam right here on Studio 17. And we'll see you next Wednesday to talk about fucking wrestling.
Whoop, whoop.
Ding, ding, ding.